Good morning. Almost not morning anymore. So let's take a look at this issue. It's kind of a weird one for sure. Sorry, I haven't used this in a few days, so I'm a little disoriented trying to get my OBS working proper here. Alright, so this is where I left off that last screenshot. So it's showing kind of some of that weirdness of that simulation. We could go back a little bit here, just see how it comes in weird. I've got it pretty slow right now. It comes around here, and this is the one that sticks posted, and then it does this for some reason. It wants to do this. So we can probably go and look at kind of why Fusion's thinking this. And again, right here, another odd piece of geometry, and then this is cutting on the outside because it doesn't recognize this profile as being a closed loop. It recognizes this outside profile as being several different loops. So let's just go right to the end now. And we can see that it's recognized that outside profile as being, well, there's 1, 2, it let it in there, 3, 4 different pieces, essentially. So it's a very bizarre issue, this one. So let's go. I'm gonna cancel this one, don't save, and I'm gonna open up the one that was originally posted. Oh, let's just do the last one here. All right. So, here is our image, and I'm just going to right click on it and go down to edit sketch. Did I get Karnak working yet here? Just shows my keystrokes. Be handy for some folks. I'm just on my other monitor trying to figure out where it is to even open it. It doesn't have a shortcut in the same way. Well, it does, but oh yeah, it's down here. There we go. Okay, yeah, I think it's on. All right, so we don't have any profile here, but that's because the sketch palette isn't showing us any profiles. We can hit that, we still don't have any profiles, and then it gives us a warning, and the warning is here. I'm going to just do that again. It will pop that warning up. Failed to generate profile as curves. Do not precisely overlap. And then more info, and it doesn't really get into it very good here. So there's not much info with there. So let's see what's going on in this project. We'll look at all the points. And we can already see we have some weird points right here where that simulation was going weird. And when I hover over it, there's that line. Let's zoom in on that. Oh, it won't do it now. It's weird, it did it for a second though. But we have like a phantom line in there. And same with on this side. But ultimately, that's not where I found the problem. I'm going to also bring up constraints. So you can see this has been made by mirroring one side to the other. Or at least the outside shape has been. So the way I found this is I saw this weird cluster over here. I'm going to get rid of the constraints for a sec. And I decided trying to tackle that, deleting some of the smaller geometries that are overlapping and just seeing if it, see, it's compute failed now. Just seeing what's going on over here, see if I can figure out something that's Fusion's not liking. And then let's see, I'll draw a line back in, see if it fixes it. So I'm just kind of retracing the steps I already took when I found this thing. So, no, that's still giving me an error, same error to begin with. So I'm going to just undo, back to factory again, or how it was originally. I'll try this side, see if I can get some action over here with deleting or like constraining these back together if possible. See, it won't let me because of the mirroring constraint attached to it right now. Oh, see, it really doesn't like that mirroring constraint when I deleted that. And I think, so this is probably the side that was mirrored to the other side. So now that I made a change on that side, it's trying to populate the change on the other side, but there's a million things going on the side. So it's probably actually going to crash here. So that'll be awesome. Yeah, okay, close. So this is when we're getting frustrated for sure. Now let's boot up Fusion again. And there's just some drawings that have issues, and then a lot of drawings work perfect. And this drawing, I'm not sure exactly how it was developed to begin with, but it has some issues to it. And weirdly enough, I had one I made the other day that I had a basically impossible job trying to make a toolpath from it. So I'll just open this file again. Trying to speak into the mic too a bit. So we'll go back to profiles here, or go back to edit this. And I actually crashed when I originally attempted this, not on video. So I'm going to bring up the points in the profile and the constraints so I can see all the action that's happening. And I'm going to delete this parting line in the middle, which is the mirror line for all these constraints. And it's just going to make this drawing way less heavy. We don't really require that right now. So some other places I'd be looking at is like where this black dot comes up, where this dot comes up here. So this is where I ended up concentrating next. I came in here and I did delete that center line, and I took a look, and I then deleted this line here, and boom, instantly I got a profile for everything but the anchor I cut out. So I tried to replace this line. And again, we were met with compute failed. Compute failed with no real... The curves do not overlap precisely. Interesting. So, Control R, we're going to just go back to how it was. And then I started probing around, looking at to see if these corners were tight. You know, some of these corners are not sharp, and some of these corners are sharp. So this is like a trace to bit map or something like that generated this. And that's why there's a lot of these artifacts like this stray curve right here that's just out in middle of space. Or like, let's see if I can find one of these little janky points. But it's where these lines don't quite line up, and there's a little jog between them, just because the information from whatever produced this DFX just isn't translating perfectly over. So there's another constraint. You can see that come up as I hovered over. Looks like that was manually connected. So I tried to radius all these, and it didn't really work. And then what I tried to do, because I kept getting that error, right? So I went and deleted this, so it gave me that outside profile again. And this isn't obviously a typical Fusion thing. This is an oddity. And then I drew two lines across here, kind of the divide and conquer method, but kind of a different version of it. So I'm gonna try to make different profiles. So I'm gonna go like this and go trim, and I'm gonna trim out this, and now I can see which half had the issue. Okay, let's try the other half. Go to trim, So this is kind of a modified version of the divide and conquer method of finding errors, which hopefully one day Fusion will do away with some of this. But all right, so it's not that side because it didn't turn blue, so we know that error's on this side. Awesome. Let's back up again to here, forward one to where, oops, so this isn't closed again. So what I'm going to do, excuse me, holy, Control R, oops, right there. I'm going to just delete one of these sections. So I'm going to do the divide and conquer method again. I'm going to just basically draw a line across here. And draw another line across here. I'm going to draw another line across here. And then I'm going to use the trim tool. Oh, wait, to see, it hasn't created us we don't have a profile right now. So when did we lose our profile? Let's find out. That's going to be the error one. There. So as soon as we put, like if I put this across here, I lose my profile as well. So it's in the top half of the structure. I'm gonna go like, so I did that method for a bit. I'm gonna just go back to the way the file was to begin with. And then I ended up deleting this line here, which might have some micro overlap. I zoomed way in on this line and I could not find anything that tipped me off as it being an issue besides just dividing my conquering the way down to finding that. So I'm going to delete it. As soon as I delete it, the profile comes back. And now I'm going to replace it. And now this drawing is fixed. So it's a bizarre little error. And there is a lot of times where there is errors, not a lot of times. In the few times that there are errors, a lot of the times we have errors where a radius comes into and terminates into a line. Normally the opposite way, where it's more of an acute, but I'm not sure if that's what's going on here. This is just a very odd error. So now this is pretty well done, ready to go. So I could extrude this now. Ooh, but look, it didn't work. Didn't want to extrude that middle piece. So I've had that sometimes even with drawings that don't seem like they're wrecked right off the bat. And a lot of the times if you have this issue, you can go turn on that sketch, hit extrude again. I'm holding down my left mouse key to bring up this menu where I can select through all the layers, and I'm going to just select that one profile. And I'm going to use that as a cutting tool and cut the actual cut way. And hopefully that will give me what I need. Yep, there we go. I'm going to turn off the sketches, and now we have a cuttable drawing. Let's go into manufacturing and just make sure this works. I'm going to create a setup. Oh, not that button. This one with the folders, the setup button. And from here, I'm going to, my body's pre-selected, and then I'm going to do bottom left-hand corner. The stock here, I usually, it's all in millimeters. Why is this file in millimeters? I'm going to go 1/4 inch. All right, and we're going to call this badge tribute. Okay. Go into our cutting tool. There's someone asking about making a cutting tool today, so I'll just make one up quick. And I'm going to make it with the Hypotherm Sync consumables. So let's say I was cutting this with the adapter for the Hypotherm Sync. Let's open up my downloads today. Look at that, 4 birds with 1 stone here in this video. Here's the cut chart that we're going to go with to make this tool. This is a mild steel fine cut, and this is running the adapter, and so you can run the adapter with the PowerMax 45, 65, 85. I'm on the 85. I've got an XP as well, so this cutting chart would work good for both. Using the adapter, doesn't list the part number of the adapter here, but this is a clip from the cut chart manual for these appliances using the adapter. So we're going to look at 14 gauge. We're running a current of 45 amps with here. We have a cut height of 0.14 inches. We have a pierce height of 0.14 inches. That means the pierce height is 100% of the cut height. If you notice in some of the other manuals, it'll say a cut height, let's say of 0.06, and for easy math, let's say for a pierce height of 0.15, and then it would say 250%, because the pierce height is, I don't know why, but usually in Hypotherm they indicate it as a ratio of the cut height, but in here it's 100%. Our pierce delay is 0.1 seconds, or no, excuse me, 0.3 seconds, which is interesting because it's actually a little bit longer than the pierce delay would be with the normal consumables. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. 220 inches per minute. If we decide to use arc voltage, it's 86, and it's giving us an astonishingly small kerf number in here of 0.017, which I absolutely do not believe that in any way, and I will be using 0.03 instead. Likely you should just do a test and check it, but I absolutely do not believe this figure. It seems crazy small. And then why is it the lowest? Why is it the lowest in this chart? Like, let's take a look at this. This always bugged me. I actually wrote, there's a post called What the Kerf that talks about this. And so we're at point, and I can understand because it's going to vaporize away, right? At point, like almost a 30-second, 0.034. And then it starts getting less and less and less and less until it gets to 12 gauge, which then it jumps back up for 10 and 12 gauge. So I'm not certain what's going on here, but I have not seen any indication that they're getting these kind of kerf widths, which seems insanity for plasma. But in stainless steel, I can see that, but I don't know. Anyhow, let's use these numbers. I'm just going to put this in the other screen on one of my other monitors while I populate this list. So let's make a tool. And this is just for the benefit of somebody who was asking on the forum if they happen to watch this. I'm going to go to my local library, and I'm going to add a new tool. And I'm going to add the plasma cutter. The description of this tool, I'll go back to my cut chart here, and I'm going to call it the Sync. Fine cut high speed, mild, steel. Perfect. And you could populate all this too if you wanted. You know, you could put the vendor would be Hypertherm. Or I guess that's manufacturing. Vendor would be, you know, so you're buying it from, let's say you're buying it from Hypertherm, and then you could put your product number in here and stuff if you wanted. What is it? 428926. Yeah, you could go crazy in here, filling all these out. Okay, next is cutter. Again, it's in millimeters. Excuse me, because this is just the file that I downloaded. My defaults are not in millimeters, but I'm going to go into, I guess I could populate it with the millimeters from the list. No, I'm not going to. For nozzle diameter, I'm going to put it what I think the kerf width is. We know what the Langmuir setup, it says 1 inch, but if you put 1 inch in here, it's going to wreck your simulations. So I always put the kerf width in here. And this is a mess up that Fusion did in the September 2022 update, and I asked about it on their forum, and it's not an issue they're interested in fixing. And I think if you don't have tip avoidance, like, it doesn't really matter unless when you have a machine that's doing a retract in between each cut. Okay, so we'll put that in as 0.03. And then I'll put the kerf width in as 0.03. And we're going to move on to holder. This does not matter. Yeah, you just leave it blank and default the way it is. Go into cutting data. Going to go into here, and we're going to put in our 220 inches per minute. Oh, it doesn't like that. I'm just going to put it in inches per minute. And the cut height, this does not populate the post processor. It may one day, so just earnestly fill it out now. Cutting power is 45 amps, 45 amps. Pierce time is 0.3. And I guess it would be good for reference if you ever needed it, because it would always be saved in your library. Gas assist air. Okay, post processor. So this is my 45th tool. You could number and do whatever in here. Okay, accept. So now I have this new tool, tool number 45. I'm going to select that. I'm going to go into here, and it's some crazy millimeters per minute because of whatever the feed rate is. Let's see what that is. $5,000 something. No, it seems too much times 25.4. Oh yeah, no, it is. It's perfect. Yeah, it's okay. Next, and I think I can switch that here at the units if I want. Yeah, I can. There we go. Beauty. Using millimeters is the worst. I am saying that a little bit in jest because there's obviously a place for it. Okay, let's select this contour. The tool's already been selected. You can see there is some kind of weird geometry thing up these two corners it really doesn't like, but I think it'll generate a tool path properly. That's why it's showing us it all weird like that. Interestingly enough, my guess is there's two little jogs there. Yeah, you can see it. Look at it. Look at it. Right there. Anyhow, I'm hoping it's not going to affect us all. So I've selected that single face contour. The other option is I could go into here, go under models, and go to sketch and select the sketch instead. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, see, it does not like the sketch. It brings up these oddities involved in it. Here and here and here. Here. I'm wondering if that's something to do with mirroring, and that's why I wish they had the timeline aspect not only in everything after sketch, but in the sketch environment itself, because we can see when this came up. And I imagine this all came up maybe during the mirror or during some kind of shift during a mirror. Anyways, it's a very uncommon problem. And I would be very interested to see how this got generated. But anyway, I'll go back to the body. So we're going to get rid of the sketch profile. I'll select this face contour of this body. And now we're going to move into passes. I'm going to reduce the tolerance by 1 magnitude. I like to do a small finishing overlap or no overlap if it's thin enough sometimes. I'm going to put in smoothing. Don't think I really need feed optimization for this. I guess I could. Thinner stuff, you don't need it as much, but it'll adjust the feed rate depending on the next geometry it's going to encounter, usually slowing it down so it creates a better, more straight up and down cut. We're not going to do it here because there's not too much straight up and down cut in a piece of 14 gauge. Okay. Now in here, I'll use a lead in. I like to use a little bit of a lead in radius. I'm going to put in a little bit of a lead in distance, but it's going to be nothing basically. I'll put a no lead out, no pierce clearance. Now I can generate this file. Okay. This might take a minute, but we can see it processing over here if we hover over. Oh. There, and it seems to have liked that. No errors, actually. It seems like it generated everything. It did generate everything. Isn't that nice? Let's take a look at the simulation here. And we're gonna jump up the speed a little bit. And I think Fusion also missed the ball huge on, in this speed area, you should be able to just have it set to the same speed it's cutting at in the program. It boggles my mind that the option is not there. It seems, why would you not have the speed to be able to be the same speed that the tool's running in the program? It doesn't seem like a bridge too far to me, and I don't know why it's not in there. Okay, well, that seems to have effectively cut that piece out. I'm going to exit the simulation, click this setup. I will post this back to the forum. All right, good luck out there. Thanks.